This is I Only Touch Greatness Remix. Scan the code and follow.
Hey guys, it's Brendan Morrison here, former Vancouver Canuck. Stay tuned, I'm coming up on the You Only Touch Greatness podcast.
No matter where I call home or where I sleep, I will forever be from the street to the V, where I learn to stand tall on my own 2 feet. Vancouver, BC is a part of me. No matter where I call home or where I sleep, I will forever be from the street to the V, where I learn to stand tall on my own 2 feet. Vancouver, BC is a part of me. I'm from Van City, grew up in Vancouver. Way back when we was taking taxis, not Ubers. We was being young, living life to the fullest, doing dumb things, thinking we was the coolest. Doing us, having fun on a day-to-day. All we thought about was partying and getting laid. Grew up, sold drugs, I was getting paid. I let my hair grow long and I was getting braids. And then I cut it all off. I was hustling cause that's how I was brought up. I was deep in the streets, I was getting caught up. Thank God RCMP never caught up. Thank you, Lord. And I still got a clean record. 20 years later, still killing these records. Ain't a damn thing changed. Vancouver, BC's where I learned the game. No matter where I call home or where I sleep, I will forever be from the street to the V, where I learn to stand tall on my own 2 feet. Vancouver, BC is a part of me. No matter where I call home or where I sleep, I will forever be from the street to the V, where I learn to stand tall on my own 2 feet. Vancouver, BC is a part of me.
Born in Pitt Meadows, what was childhood like, and when did you start playing hockey, and when did you end up making the move to Penticton?
So I grew up in Pitt Meadows, a great spot to grow up, a small town. First year of playing organized hockey and played there right through my first year midget until I was 16, and then from there moved to Penticton and played for the Penticton Panthers at the time in the early 90s.
And then from there, obviously, from the BC Junior Hockey League, you ended up going to play for the Michigan Wolverines and becoming a national champion and also Hobie winner. What was it like heading there, and what was your time like in Michigan?
Yeah, so I was in Penticton 1 year, and it was a pretty crazy year. I ended up getting a scholarship, like you mentioned, to Michigan, University of Michigan Wolverines, and was drafted that same year too while playing for Penticton. So my time in Michigan was unbelievable. It really was. To this day, some of my closest friends are guys that I came into school with. We had a class of 9 freshmen, and it's funny, we got a big group text going. We chat almost daily on that text, and man, it's been a while since we've been in school. So great group of guys, awesome program. Like Red Berenson was the coach. I learned a lot from him. He's a father figure to a lot of us on the team over the years. And we had a lot of success. We had a chance to win it every year I was there. And we won it my junior year. And I think my senior year, we actually had a much better team, but we didn't get it done. We lost to BU in the semifinals, but just an amazing experience going to that school.
And it's funny you say that, and I could be off by a couple of years, but Mike Legg, a teammate of yours while you were there?
We came in the same time. We were freshmen together, but obviously Mike grew up in London, Ontario. And but yeah, we were teammates for 4 years.
Pretty sure he lives in Pitt Meadows or Maple Ridge now.
He does. I know his whole family moved out west from Ontario. But yeah, I'm still in touch with Lager as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we that name always comes to mind when we think of the new goal. Obviously, everyone's scoring nowadays, but he kind of started that goal, the Michigan goal.
Dude, like how you've made it big time when they actually have a goal basically named after you in a video game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty sick.
Definitely. I'm always out there at practice trying to pull it off and stuff. And he's one guy we've been trying to find a way to contact. So that's pretty cool.
Dude, I might have an in. an in.
I know. I think so. I might have to grease you up a little bit.
So take me back. Go ahead, Ryan.
Okay, I was going to hit one. You hit the stat. If you were having a dream party and you could invite 3 famous people, dead or alive, who are you bringing?
Wow. Wow. What a question. Oh, man. I got to think back to some historical figures here. Geez, that's a tough one, boys. I mean, obviously there's hockey guys that come to mind right away, right? Guys who I haven't met. I think, a guy that comes to mind would be like Gordie Howe, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Hockey, just to get his perspective from all the different generations that he played. I mean, if you think about it, it's absolutely incredible. Like, to play a pro hockey game at the age of 52 years old, like I'm 45 and I feel like I'm in decent shape in that. I still try and stay on top of it, but I can't even imagine going back on the ice and playing a game. And he's playing at 52. Like, that's ridiculous stuff. So I'd have to put him up there, being a sports guy, obviously. Some historical figures. Oh, geez.
For example, I always go with Tupac, Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen would be awesome to sit down and have dinner and tell jokes with, and then Hulk Hogan.
Oh, the Hulkster. Yeah. He could tell some stories.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm going to go way back. I actually read a really cool, this cool series of books way back when, a couple years ago, but it had a really good account of like Genghis Khan, man, and how the Mongols and that were conquering parts of Europe and et cetera, and just how he built that empire. I don't know why I'm even thinking about that right now, but I just love the books. They were so interesting, and so I would say like a historical figure like him. And then I think you got to throw in like a president, right?
Yeah.
Now, who is that guy? I don't know. There's obviously been a lot of interesting times over the course of history where presidents have had to make some pretty important decisions as far as like entering into wars and things like that. And I guess to understand their perspective on these things would be pretty cool. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but I think that'd be interesting.
For sure.
And then take you back to 1993 when you were drafted 39th overall to the New Jersey Devils. And did you know they were interested? And did you know you were going there basically? Or?
Well, I didn't. I actually had met with probably about a dozen teams towards the end of that season there, where scouts would come in and, take you out for lunch and ask you questions. And then closer to the draft, I would interview with teams and it was kind of a bizarre process. Like, you'd go in and there'd be a couple guys there and they would show you like these abstract drawings or paintings and get you to stare at these things and ask you like, what do you see in this picture? And you're like, and I'm thinking to my mom, well, what do you want me to see here? Like, crazy stuff like that, So a little bit of a psychological assessment, I think. But I knew Jersey was interested. But I didn't know how it was going to shake out. I had a lot of talk with Washington too. And it was funny. They had a pick in the first round, 17th overall, I believe the pick was, or right around that anyways. And they went up and announced their pick. And they announced the guy's name was Brendan. I'm like, no, really? But it was Brendan Witt, a defenseman. So But I was happy to go to Jersey, man. Like, at that time, their franchise was winning a lot. And I remember going into my first training camp there, and you walk in and there's Scott Stevens, there's Ken Danico, there's Scott Niedermayer, there's Martin Brodeur, there's Doug Gilmore, there's Dave Andrechuk. Like, all these guys are in the Hall of Fame, and you're just a wide-eyed kid, and it takes a while to adjust to it. It definitely does, or it did for me at first, because these are guys you're watching on TV, every night or every Saturday night, and then all of a sudden you're in the locker room with them, and you're kind of competing against them every day when you're on the ice. So it was it's a little bit surreal.